Erev Tov, my name is Mitch Morrison, and I've been a member of the UTGA for over 25 years. I live in Passaic, New Jersey, and it's a tremendous honor to have been asked by Rabbi Ron Price, the author and student Talmid Mufhak of Rav Halivni, who composed from his regular Erev Shabbat meetings with Rav Halivni, um, the Rav's thoughts on the Parshiot, and that led to the wonderful, wonderful Sefer Divrei Halev. Incidentally, the timing of his asking me to speak could not be just mere coincidence, as it is also my Afrav Parsha Shemini. I'm really fascinated and have always been bedazzled by how Rav Halivni oftentimes started his presentations. He started with a story of when he was a little child, being raised primarily by his grandfather, especially on the religious vein, that when it came for the period of slichot, leading to the Yamim Noraim, his grandfather would wake him up very, very early to go to shul for nates. And one time, Rav Halevni, the little child, saw a coin and he picked it up. And his grandfather said to him, "Wow, see, the Abishter rewards you for waking up early, showing zrizut ha-mitzvah, eagerness to perform a mitzvah, that God has rewarded you with a coin." In almost an inimitable way, the young David Weiss says, "Yes, but what about the man who lost the coin? He was here earlier. He was here before me." And he then always would proceed of saying anything and everything that I'm about to speak about was built on the precedence and precipice of those who preceded me. And he was basically building off of the shoulders of others. And made me think a lot about this week's Parsha and shoulders. Instead of thinking about those who preceded us, our role and our legacy for those who will succeed us. The fire consumed Nadav and Abihu. Vayamutu lefnei Hashem. They died before God. Rav Halivni, though, focuses on what follows that story, and that is Moshe reports the news to Aharon, and Aharon, it says Vayidom Aharon, and most of the commentators define Vayidom as was silent, that Aharon had nothing to say, maybe shocked, maybe out of acceptance. There are a wide range of Mefarshim on it. But I want to focus on what happens right after. And that is, it seems as if the reward of Aharon not contending with God and rather subordinating his own views for the actions of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the next section starts with an unusual phrase. Normally we have Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe. But instead here it says Vaydaber Hashem el Aharon lemor. And God specifically communicates directly with Aharon, something we have not seen since actually the very beginning of Sefer Shemot, when God summons Aharon to meet Moshe, who's just emerging as a new Navi in the desert. And Aharon meets Moshe with joy and rejoice. And Aharon becomes known as just an Ish Sameach, a person who brings joy to all of his actions. What happens here, though, is God speaks to Aaron and basically gives him the commandment that the Kohanim shall not serve in the Mizbeah, in the Mishkan, with any prior intoxicants. Can't have any alcohol if you want, but before you do your avodah, before you do your service, your korbanot. Rav Halivni's read is spectacular. Why? Because most of us look at the pasuk of Yain v'shechar al tisht ata v'necha itach b'voachem elo moed v'lo tamutu chukat olom l'dorotechem. We mostly focus on the mitzvah that Aaron has of not to drink while performing the avodah, the service. Rav Halivni actually focuses on something much more subtle, and that is ata, you, uvanecha itach, and the children with you, Elazar and Itamar. That, yes, you lost your two older sons, Nadav and Avihu. However, your shoulders, your shoulders shall be strong and firm, and provide an ascension for your sons, Elazar and Itamar. And not only that, Chukat Olam L'Dorotechem, and that this shall be an eternal statute for all of your generations. Aharon, you suffered a terrible loss, but your future continues, and it'll be continued through your children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. As I read this, I couldn't stop but thinking of Rav Halivni's own life, the family that he lost, the grandparents, the mother, siblings, that all of a sudden the shoulders upon which he would emerge were removed from him, and that he had to become freestanding himself. But through great strength, through a great partner, they built a wonderful family with three beautiful children and grandchildren. And with that, I wish all of us a bracha of Hakarat Tov for the people who preceded us and inspired and modeled us, as well as for us to be models for future generations. Have a great Shabbat. Thank you.